to these kids, what he has done to them is horrific.
Coming up tonight on KRCG 13 Live at 5, a former Slater fire chief pleads guilty to multiple child sex crimes. Thousands of DWI cases could be in jeopardy. We'll explain why. And Fort Leonard Wood officials shut down a road and evacuated a building after a suspicious package is found.
Clouds have been building as we've gone through your afternoon hours, and we're going to find a chance for some storms later tonight through the week. KRCG 13 Live at 5 starts right now.
Live from across mid-Missouri, this is KRCG 13 Live at 5.
Good evening. I'm Megan Lane. Thanks for joining us. A former Slater fire chief is going to prison. That's after being accused of molesting 2 girls. KRCG 13's Mark Slavitt reports Levi Dennis was sentenced to 13 years in prison after he pleaded guilty to child sex crimes.
Slater's former fire chief, Levi Dennis, pleaded guilty to 3 child sex crimes. Prosecutors told KRCG they allowed Dennis to cut a plea deal to prevent 2 of his victims from testifying. Prosecutors originally charged Dennis with 14 crimes against children. Prosecutors say Dennis raped his stepdaughter and another girl several times a week for 2 years. Dennis did not plead guilty to rape. In a plea deal, Dennis pleaded guilty to possession of child pornography, invasion of privacy, and photographing a child under the age of 14 in sexually explicit positions. Prosecutors said the victims recanted their stories of sexual attacks out of fear.
I just think that a jury trial would have just, I just could not put them on the stand. Yeah. So we were trying to work something out that protected the public and achieved as many years as we could under the circumstances.
Dennis was Slater's fire chief, was a paramedic, and was active in many community organizations.
To the public, he appeared like a very nice man that was active in the community, but to these kids, what he has done to them is horrific.
Prosecutor Don Stouffer wants to make sure Dennis serves his entire sentence of 13 years in prison. Stouffer plans to attend any parole hearing involving Dennis to help make sure the convicted sex offender remains behind bars. In Slater, Mark Slavitt, KRCG 13.
Stouffer said Dennis is in the Saline County Jail tonight and will be transported to Missouri prisons later this week. 2 people are under arrest and 1 is on the loose tonight after a shots-fired incident in Sedalia Sunday morning. It happened in the area of 6th and Kentucky just after 1:30 a.m. Sedalia police officers heard 4 gunshots and saw a vehicle driving away. Officers chased the vehicle outside of the city limits where it went into a field. The driver, 28-year-old Timothy Smith, ran off. Police are still looking for him. He's considered armed and dangerous. 2 other people were arrested. 3 people are behind bars for trying to smuggle drugs into a state correctional facility. Callaway County deputies arrested Dorothy Oliver, Terry Lambert, and Lanisha Dill. 2 different types of drugs were found in their vehicle when visiting the Fulton Reception and Diagnostic Center. Investigators believe those drugs had been brought to the facility with the intent to smuggle them into an inmate. All 3 were taken to the Callaway County Jail. Authorities say the investigation is ongoing. A man in Randolph County is charged with distribution and possession along with felony DWI after a traffic stop late last week. Authorities in Randolph County say they recovered several pounds of marijuana during that stop in Huntsville last Thursday. Richard May was arrested and taken to the Randolph County Jail while deputies applied for a search warrant. During a search of his vehicle, officers recovered 4 bricks of compressed pot weighing 3 pounds 12 ounces. May's bond was set at $45,000. 2 women are behind bars after a weekend high-speed chase through 2 counties. Deputies tried to stop a vehicle on Highway WW Sunday morning after getting a tip that a wanted woman was driving a stolen vehicle in the area. Authorities chased the vehicle driven by 20-year-old Melinda Vandevenner, reaching 100 miles per hour speeds. When they reached Callaway County, Vandevenner lost control and she crashed. Neither she nor her passenger were hurt. Vandevenner was arrested on multiple charges, including suspicion of tampering with a motor vehicle and resisting arrest. Her passenger, Chasten Jordan, was arrested for multiple charges, including possession of drug paraphernalia and 3 warrants. A 17-year-old struck by 2 cars and killed in Mexico, Missouri last week has been identified. KRCG 13's Stephanie Harada joins us in the studio with the details.
Megan, family members released the name of the 17-year-old who was killed after being hit by 2 cars Friday night. His name was Dylan St. Clair, and he had just moved to Mexico about a month ago after living in Fredericktown. Authorities say the teen was walking along U.S. Highway 54 East just before the South Clark exit when he was hit by 2 cars just after 9 p.m. The first car was a 2001 Honda driven by 39-year-old Jason Sanders from Arkansas. The second car that hit the teen was a 2002 Saturn driven by 19-year-old Megan Ross of Jefferson City. Officials say neither of the drivers were injured. Dylan's girlfriend told us he wanted to join the Army, and she says he will be greatly missed. Family friends say funeral arrangements are pending, but they will most likely be out of state. Reporting for KRCG 13, I'm Stephanie Harada.
And now, your KRCG 13 Weather Authority First Weather.
Well, starting to feel a little bit more like summer outside today. We had some sunshine, but clouds have really begun to take over, and we're starting to find a little bit of filtered sunshine here, and that is still going to allow for a pretty muggy evening. Here's a live look over Jefferson City, our Scruggs lumber camera. You can see some of that filtered sunshine there on the south side of the Capitol building. Well, some showers and thunderstorms approaching mid-Missouri. They're weakening as they get here. We still have a chance for a few showers and thunderstorms later on tonight, but here through your evening hours, I think we're going to be okay. We're in the upper 70s to right around 80 degrees right now. Some cooler weather off on the horizon, and we will continue to find a cloudy sky with that chance for storms going into the morning on your Tuesday. We'll talk a little bit more on what to expect for the rest of the week, and it does include several chances at wet weather and a couple of days of which could become severe. We'll talk about those in your 7-day forecast coming up.
All right, thanks, Zach. Thousands of DWI cases could be in jeopardy. That's because of a loophole state lawmakers failed to fix this spring. KRCG 13's Garrett Bergquist joins us in the studio to explain what happened.
Megan, this involves how police calibrate their breathalyzers. In 2012, the Department of Health added a level at which police could test the devices. The department meant to say police could simulate a 0.04, 0.08, or 0.10 blood alcohol level. But the department accidentally wrote "and" instead of "or." The mistake wasn't fixed until April of 2014. The Missouri Supreme Court ruled any breathalyzer test conducted before the typo was fixed had to be done on a machine calibrated to all 3 levels. Otherwise, a DWI case could get thrown out. State lawmakers tried to retroactively fix the rule this spring, but the bill died before it could reach the governor's desk. The issue frustrates prosecutors.
It's really important that we address this typo because literally thousands of DWI cases hang in the balance, and not only traditional DWI cases, which are bad enough in themselves, but also vehicular assaults and even manslaughters.
Platte County Prosecutor Eric Zahn says he hopes Governor Jay Nixon calls for a special session to fix the loophole. Reporting for KRCG 13, I'm Garrett Bergquist.
All right, thanks, Garrett. What caused Egypt Air Flight 804 to crash? Coming up on KRCG 13 Live at 5, crews are searching the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea for the answers. The story's next.
And pollen levels are going to be all over the board here this week. They're going to be up, they're going to be down, and that's because we're going to find warm, humid conditions, plus some rain. We'll talk more on the rain chances still in your forecast after the break.